All right. Let me go to Mr. Wagwe in Abuja now. With what we've seen and the creativity INEC put into this process, what's your take and what's your judgment about performance of INEC generally? Score them.
I'm not hearing him.
It seems we're having problem reaching Mr. Nwagu. So in the meantime, as we try to solve the issue of the connection there, let's move ahead. Let me show you some. Let's move away from the bit of the pre-election preparation. Let's go into the voters register. That seems to be another huge problem or center of attraction in this particular issue. Let me give you an idea of before at 2011. The initial voters population in Anambra State was 2,110,746. But at some point, there is a discovery of 96,085 duplicates, double thumbprints, double registration in the register, which when INEC conducted the automatic fingerprint verification, they discovered this, and it brought the number of voters in Anambra State to 1,718,165. Again, when they did the continuous voters registration, the figure eventually stood at 1,784,536. Now, with all of this disconnects that we see in the earlier voters register and now, after the election, we still find a huge problem, which some of the parties are accusing INEC of in terms of voters register. This is perhaps one of the first time we are seeing INEC come out with this innovation about the voters register. Again, it brings to the fore the issue of the voters register. Where are we? Let me go to you, Mr. Nwagwe. It seems we are able to hear you now and you can hear us. Tell us, what's your mind on the issue of the voters register based on what INEC is doing and a lot of processes ahead of us, 2014 and 2015?
Well, I think the voter register, the voter register is the most important thing for elections, and I'm surprised that political parties did not take the issue of the cleanup of the voter register in Anambra seriously. It's surprising that over 600,000 votes persons were removed from that register, and I thought that would have ticked off some kind of alarm for the political parties to begin to interrogate what happened and the process with which that voter register was cleaned up. But more importantly now is that the blame game is being spread all over, and the integrity of the Anambra election is being called to question, and that is my worry. The public perception in the way and manner the electoral management body had handled the issue of the election has come to the point in which, going forward, as we keep talking about 2014, 2015, the integrity deficit that has become what is associated with INEC presently cannot sustain them to carry on election exercises in 2014 and 2015. So the Anambra process, for me, has to be reorganized in such a way that public perception can come up strong, and then they can move into 2014 carrying the people along. So the issue of the voter register is not essentially INEC went through the hog, the political parties didn't do what they should have done, but taking the election from a bird eye view, you will then find out that if you have almost 203 issues in 16 local government, in 203 polling units in 16 local government across the state, and then you are scapegoating Idemili North, especially Obosi, it's playing the ostrich. The truth of the matter is that Anambra election was totally fell short of what you can say. I think it is an INEC staff that said it fell short of the glory of Nigerians. And I think that what we need to do is to begin to go back to the reports that INEC had previously, even before Anambra, and look at it and face them squarely as we move forward to 2014, 2015.
let me stay with you in our Abuja studio. There are allegations of discovery of minors on the register with the automatic fingerprint verification, which automatically it will bring out double duplications in this process, and it brings out some pitfalls or some mistakes, errors in the register. Do you think it's actually very easy to maneuver and cheat with the technology INEC is putting in place in the register?
Well, I think technology is meant to aid man. Technology is made to assist us in the things that we do. It does not take the place for proper engagement with those processes. What we have seen is that in spite of everything that has been done with technology, there are people who are also in the business of undermining technology and using it to advantage. You have seen internet scammers, you have seen people who do all sorts with technology. So, but what really INEC has been unable to even engage technology properly. Remember that in a meeting recently, INEC had said that it was going to deploy card readers. It was going to test out the issue of the card readers for Anambra election. But what did we see? We still saw the manual, the use of manual engagement in the election exercise in Anambra. It had boosted even before now. It had helped public. It has ticked public confidence to a high, to the point that a lot of people felt that Anambra was going to be a period in which some of these issues that we are raising now will not come. But politics, executive meddlesomeness has been able to ensure that INEC is unable to use technology to advance the things that it had boosted in times past. So if you are asking if it's possible to manipulate the register, technology will not stop that. What will stop that will be discipline, will be integrity of actors within INEC who will deploy this technology. If they refuse to collaborate with politicians to sabotage the system, then you can get the results that you're looking for. But Sharon, going forward, I think that what we have not been able to do is that we focused a lot of attention at the leadership of INEC. We've not paid attention to the middle level staff, who are the operatives in this whole election exercise. I'm talking about the EOs, the SPOs, and the rest of them. Our attention is not really focused there, and over the period, the politicians understand that they are the real operatives on the ground, and they have worked over a period of time to ensure that they compromise them. And INEC needs to wield the big stick now. It is time to wield the big stick and ensure that those acts that sabotage whatever efforts that they have made. Listening to Professor Chukwuemeka Onukog in Anambra, you will have thought that we wouldn't have some of the issues that, because he said they understand the implications of that means logistics, that means the issue of deployment, that means the issue of the materials and men that will be used, that they had crossed the T's, they had dotted the I's. So if you continue to talk about sabotage, what you then need to do is to ensure that you do not spare those who bring shame and ridicule to the institution as you move forward.
All right. Let me ask you, it appears the major problem, the center point of the issues surrounding the controversy in Anambra election has to do with the voters register. From your own experience, we've seen what we did in 2011 and now in 2013. Do you think we should have gone past all of this? And what should INEC be doing now in terms of voters register? Register is at the center of election in Nigeria.
Shehu, to answer your question directly, yes, we ought to have gone beyond this point. We shouldn't still be at a position where INEC has a problem with the register. Now, this election didn't come as a surprise. It's not an emergency. Everybody knew the election was coming. 4 years ago, we knew this election was coming. Now, what would it have taken INEC to have produced the voters register in time, handed it over in time for the politicians to go, the political parties to go through them, send them back down to the wards, down to even the polling booths, and then come back with their complaints and still have the final register ready before 30 days prior to the election, to make sure that no part of the law have been breached. Because the problem I have now really is that document in the form of a disc that was given to political parties 3 days before the election or thereabout. Is that not a voters register? Whether it is because, from what I heard, the representative of INEC talked about 2 or so days ago, or yesterday, where he was saying that it was only the fact that two years were removed from everybody's. As far as I'm concerned, that is still that's the latest register you give to them.
Yeah, but let me ask you, sorry to cut you. The fact remains that the parties were given. People were asked to come and re-verify after the verification process. But some people didn't turn up. So is it now INEC's fault that there is this whole lot of talk about I couldn't find my name. My name was usually first on the polling unit 1, and I can only find it here in polling unit 3. This is a process of the. But INEC has done its own role. It appears the electorate and the parties have not done what they should be doing.
You gave the parties a document 30 days before the election that they found fault with the document. You then gave them another document 3 days before the election. Question: has INEC actually breached the law or not by giving you 3 days rather than 30 days before the election?
Did they?
Now, personally, I would say yes, they did, because that was the document. That's ought to have gone to them at least 30 days before the election. Now, you give somebody a document. You know how vast Anambra is in terms of polling booths, just like any other state. As small as it is, it still has a lot of polling booths. You expect the party that is preparing for an election, that's going to an election, that's ought to be campaigning and all that, to now stop all it's doing and start looking at the names 3 days before the election, all over the booths. If the law thought, if the crafters and drafters of the law thought it was that simple, they wouldn't have given that, made the law to be at least 30 days before the election.
All right, just hold the thought, Mr. Odidika, because we need to go for a short break. But when we return, we'll still be talking about what went wrong with INEC's preparation and the process, the controversy on the process trailing the Anambra election as we look ahead of a supplementary election coming on Saturday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.